2017 general election, probably one of the most bizarre elections in British history, the IRA sympathising far-left Labour leader managed to gain his party 30 seats and achieve 40% of the vote. That was despite his party having rallied against Brexit and the electorate having only voted to leave the European Union the summer previous. Theresa May tried to increase her majority, but the risk totally backfired and she lost 13 seats. That meant that the Tories lost their majority in Parliament, and ever since, the House of Commons has been skating on thin ice, with European Union's sharks snapping at their ankles beneath them. Corbynistas, despite Corbyn's traditional support for Brexit, are hoping the ice cracks and then they can go and cosy up with the sharks. But Theresa has had to put on a brave face and try and push Brexit through with a precarious deal with Ireland's Democratic Unionist Party. In short, it's a mess. And in the face of such uncertainty, it seems surprising that the public would be willing to shake things up even more and hand our government over to a man who will put Diane Abbott in charge of national security and immigration, reduce the tax threshold and hurt working class families, and welcome in even greater numbers of immigrants than the Conservative Theresa May. But that's exactly what the numbers seem to show. ICM has just announced that if an election were to be held today, the Labour Party would achieve 43% of the vote. The Conservatives 42% of the vote, the Lib Dems 7% of the vote, UKIP 3% and the Greens 2%. That means the Lib Dems would maintain around 12 seats, perhaps they'd lose a seat or two. Which is interesting, the Lib Dems are the most pro-EU party in England. They're quite open about their desire to ignore the results of the referendum and stop Brexit. But perhaps their supporters realise that they have, well, a better shot supporting Corbyn and the Labour Party. And then there's the issue of the total collapse of UKIP. In 2017, their vote share was reduced to 1.8% from 12.6% in the general election. But the 3% claimed by ICM research doesn't necessarily mean that UKIP's support is growing again in the face of an uncertain Brexit. In 2015, UKIP stood in almost every seat in the country with 614 candidates. That figure was almost cut in half to 378 in 2017. ICM research shows 3% support across the country. And given the current financial state of UKIP, its disaster with former leader Henry Bolton, and potential bankruptcy coming from a £660,000 legal bill, it's hardly likely that they could muster up even 300 candidates in a snap election. Maybe 200, maybe even 100. And failure to stand in enough seats in a general election would mean their support drops under 1.8%, maybe under 1 percentage point. And that leaves Britain in quite a scary position. I don't for a moment think that the combination of Labour's 43%, the Lib Dems 7% and the Greens 2% means that a majority of the British people want Brexit stopped. I think the voters believe whoever they vote for will respect the will of the people and follow through with Brexit. That shows the faith and the decency of the British people and perhaps the naivety for placing faith in someone like Corbyn. But if Theresa May doesn't step up and do the right thing and scrap the transition period, stop free movement and stand up to the tyrants in Brussels, then who knows what might happen. Delay tactics and constant missteps by Theresa May could easily create doubt in the British voters. And clearly we're seeing that by the latest poll results. At this point, I'm genuinely scared. UKIP's pandering to the left and its refusal to deal with issues like jihad and crime, its potential bankruptcy and its general mismanagement has created a void in British politics. Perhaps that's where the likes of Anne-Marie Waters and For Britain comes in. But combine this temporary void with desperation and a lack of faith in Theresa May, and we're creating a perfect environment for real socialists and Marxists to enter government. And that won't just mean that Brexit gets scrapped. It means that Britain will be permanently transformed.
We will make America great again.